And welcome to RAF Odiham, where it's a cool and crisp morning for us to try out two excellent helicopters, both of them Chinooks. What a luxury in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 to be able to put two of these machines next to each other and see how they perform, see how they fly, see how they handle, see what they look like, see what they sound like. Yes, so that's what we'll do in this video. Now, this is the Blackbird CH47 Delta Chinook. This is included in the 2024 Premium Deluxe edition of the simulator. And if you're someone who likes big helicopters, and why wouldn't you looking at this thing? Why would you not? You might have already got that because it also, that edition, gets you the Hype Performance Group H225. So that's a nice couple of helicopters to have in your fleet. But the other one we'll talk about is, well, that's the static version over there. This is the Miltech CH47D, and we'll get to that soon. That's just a static version that's sitting here in the scenery. The scenery actually comes with the Miltech machine as a little bonus, a complimentary scenery. RAF Odiham, where a whole bunch of real-life Chinooks are based. Nice. All right, well, let's look at the Chinook by Blackbird first, and it's got a bit of functionality here that's connected with 2024. We can take off these pedo covers. Great. Have a little look around here. Oh, a bit of graphics glitches there just to get me started. Lovely. So yeah, looking at the skin of this aircraft, that looks pretty good. Nice, nice detail in the text sprayed on there, and a bit of wear around the windows here. It looks very pale underneath that metal, but maybe that's just the way it looks. Get rid of these chocks. And yeah, this exterior model looks just fine. Love the reflections in that bubble window there. Pretty good detail on the external decals. Crouch down here and have a look. Okay. Actually can open that up. There we go. We'll have a little look, a bit more detail about how that will work on the other machine that we'll look at today. Yes, the back of our Chinook, I will admire that in a little bit more detail later on. Just close that up for now. Yeah, so nothing too sophisticated in terms of being able to just control it to get the ramp to come down at a level point, and then to flip out the sort of the ramp aspect of it to get vehicles in and out, but we'll have a look at that later on in the Miltech machine. Again, still looking just fine down here. Good level of detail. This is like a generic military livery that we find on this Blackbird default or first-party developed machine. Not too many liveries included, but then one imagines there will be a certain amount of interest in developing these, you know, by people, freeware developers who want to sort of post their work on tools like flightsim.to. There we go, there's our searchlights, which are flush back in there because they're being retracted. That's good. And that's looking just fine, so I propose we get on board this machine. And here we are on the flight deck of our Blackbird CH47D Chinook. Beautiful. Now it looks, how would I describe the look of this? It's utilitarian, it's the portrayal, I should say. I like the charcoal grey surfaces. There's a little bit of wear and tear here and there. I reckon this has got a pretty good look to it. I've got nothing to complain about when I look around the interior of this rendition of the Chinook, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now, let us look at the startup procedures of this. So, one thing I'm not sort of quite so sold on is just the default view here. I often find I have to do this in simulators. I just need to tilt the camera down a bit and just come out a couple of steps on the mouse wheel there, because I like to be able to see down. That's pretty important in helicopter simulation, so I like to see a little bit down there, and hopefully when I switch between views here using the shortcut keys, yes, that's going to retain that. Great. So, starting up. Let's get some lights on outside. We'll get our anti-collision lights on, our position light on, and we will... I'll get those landing lights on later, or search lights. So let's get the battery on now, and we're on. Excellent. I love the white integrated lighting there. We could attempt to go through this startup checklist. What we need to do is get the APU running. Actually, I needed to get it onto run first and then ask it to start. There we go. Okay, we're running on the APU there. I just managed to make a slight mess of that very simple procedure. And we see that we've got our APU on advisory down here. Good, let's get the APU generator in. So we're not relying on battery power now. Next, fuel pumps. So main fuel pumps are going on. Good sounds. Get that crossfeed happening as well. Standby hydraulics. This allows us to operate the... thank you for the power transfer unit sound effect there. Allows us to operate the controls of the machine when it is not being powered, so that works. Except the thrust lever doesn't. It's a thrust lever, not a collective lever, because it's a Chinook and it's a tandem helicopter arrangement. So technically it's actually a thrust lever, this thing. Alright, so I was up to the flight controls. We've checked those. The collective, as it's called here, does not move. It wants us to put both of these condition leaders to ground. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put them to... I'm going to put... Do you know what? I actually am going to do that because I think they have cheated a little bit in the startup procedure here. So I'm going to put them both to ground idle. And we're going to take the engine 1 start switch to start, which is moving that to the left here. We'll just start our chronometer here. I think ordinarily I ought to be holding down that switch until we reach 10% N1, which we're already past. It's now neutralized itself. Good. So we're at 50% N1. And we have oil temperature, oil pressure happening there. Transmission pressure's coming up. That's good. And we can see slightly suspicious amount of activity there. I don't think we needed to be getting to 100% engine torque on the ground idle startup. And notice that the second engine has started by itself as well. So I think this has been a bit of a shortcut taken there. I think they've programmed it so that when you start one, it just goes through a bit of a flow by itself and starts them all for you. So this down here is meaningless. Don't need to worry about that. I was going to let that run for 45 seconds and monitor all the activity over here. But I don't need to. So that's all reasonably normal. IT is, that's the turbine temperature is looking just fine. N1 is, looks like about 58% and engine torque less than 20. The rotor RPM though is at 100% on ground idle, but guess what? We can't take the engine, whoops, that was the wrong way to push that. That's probably just now stop that engine. I'll just cheat and get that going back here again. I can't move those any further forward. I can't move those to flight idle. There's no flight idle position on this Blackbird simulation. So I guess I'm going to say that this is approximately modelled at best, the engine startup procedure. Still, let's complete it. We'll get our engine generators on. We'll get our APU generator off. We'll take that APU off. Kill those hydraulic transfers. And I think we're all fine up here. Get everything open. I've loaded up the helicopter with full fuel. Just wanted a little bit of weight in the machine, and I'll put some pretend cargo in the back as well. Okay, so that's the startup. Did I turn that off? Yes. That's the startup as it stands. It's not realistic. There's a few shortcuts there. They've programmed in some things. I guess they would think that it's there to help people. I don't know. It's it'd be nice to see that model in a little bit more depth, to be honest. But nonetheless, we're up and running. And what do we need to do now? Let's try a little bit of a taxi over there. And the way the Chinook works, let's just get to my view over here. Good. Can acknowledge that caution because the only advisory we have here is that the parking brake is on. Great. So with the Chinook, we've got a 3-position switch down here. We can lock our rear wheels, our steering wheels. We can unlock them so they'll just sort of cast around with the aircraft. Or I can bring them forward into a power steering position, which is activated with this knob here. So this knob, I'll just grip it, hold it, and I can turn it left, I can turn it right. I'm going to leave it straight here, and I'll just show you what happens here. So, let's have a look outside. The rigging on the Chinook is such that you can just see it there, that forward rotor is tilted forwards, so that all I need to do is add a little bit of thrust and put that parking brake in, a little bit of thrust, and we start moving forwards. So good. I'll grab that steering control down here, I'm holding it, and I can move that left. Yes. I can move that right. I've got steering authority with the knob. That's good. Wouldn't mind getting that onto a joystick axis. Can't find any documentation for this Blackbird CH-47. We'll work on that some other time. Just bring us around here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get that back in the middle because I'm now using the rudder pedals. They also steer it. I don't think that's realistic. They're not anti-torque pedals in theory because this does not have an anti-torque rotor, this tandem-rotor system. Right. Parking brake on again. Let us look at one of the party tricks of the Chinook, which is, well, first of all, I'll just take you down here. No, down here. Notice that we've got this sort of thermometer looking thing down here. It's the position of the longitudinal cyclic. So just call it the cyclic stick position. If we get that down to about 2, about there, 2 inches in. Just reset my view again. There we go. I'm now raising the thrust lever. Up it comes. Oh, that bassy sound. Okay, I'll just hold it there. Try not to go crazy. We are up on our rear wheels. Good. That is very nice. So that is what we'd want to see. I'm just going to let it settle down again. I mean, you can taxi around like that. You can see that in some air shows. Just something to pay attention to is the radar altimeter over here. I can't make that any brighter. That there is very bright. I'll just dim that. Oh, that's nice. Good. Right. So we're just going to pay attention to the radar altimeter as we do this next part. A little bit of rear cyclic again, bringing that meter back. Adding some thrust in there. Now I'm going to actually go forward on the cyclic whilst raising the thrust lever a bit more, and we are hover taxiing. I think I forgot to lock those steering wheels. That's not very good. And this is one of the beautiful things about the Chinook is when we're simulating it in FS2024 here, it just flies so beautifully. It's wonderful. It's actually super easy. If you've ever had any struggles with mastering the anti-torque rotor on the smaller helicopters like the H225 or the R66, you'll just find this a dream. It's just beautiful. So I've got up to 12 feet there. I'll just try and keep this about 10 to 12, I think, on our hover down here, to our hover taxi, I should say. I mean, I could just drive around here, couldn't I? But I'll do it the fun way. It just sails along really gracefully, this machine. The Blackbird does feel like a big old ship, the way it turns corners. Or the way it takes corners, I suppose. Yeah, so a little bit of forward planning is required. I'm just letting the machine float over. I'm hardly having to do anything with the cyclic. Let's cancel that sliding over there to the right. Getting a bit of speed up now. Clunk, those were the back wheels hitting the tarmac there. Blackbird is good. They're giving me a little bit of auditory feedback there. I like that. Thank you for including that. haven't got any traffic or anything turned on today, and we've got calm winds, so it's going to be nice and easy. So we'll just get onto the runway over here for a quick flight demo. Oh, that bassy throb of those rotors, wonderful. Thank you, Blackbird, also for not making the transmission whine too loud. There's a very noisy piece of equipment right above our head there. That is the rotor, the forward rotor, and it's supported by the forward gearbox, and it does have a very particular noisy whine to it. I think some might argue that it would be more realistic for it to be louder in the simulation, but it's actually much nicer to use the simulation without that sound effect. And a bit of pedal here to come around, cancelling out that sliding motion there. Great. That's easy. I'm just not even having to really think about what I'm doing there. It's just sailing along beautifully. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, let's lift the thrust lever. Let's pitch down the nose and let's get the torque up. So we're only about 50% there. That doesn't seem very realistic for the amount of thrust lever that I've got lifted here. Not sure what's going on there. So is that 55% torque, and I'm already getting up to 100 knots? Well, getting to 100 knots now. I don't know, it seems very powerful, this Blackbird Chinook. Very powerful indeed. Too powerful? I'm not sure. Be interested to hear other people's feedback on that. Already at 120 knots. You can cruise along very happily at 130, 140. Probably this Blackbird machine you can probably get even faster. Very stable to fly here. How are we doing for trim? We're out of trim, and I'm having to use a bit of right pedal, a bit more right pedal. I'm looking at the indicators down here, the balance ball. I'm having to use a bit of right pedal to keep everything nice. I don't know if that's strictly realistic. I believe the Chinook trims itself with quite a sophisticated system, which is not modelled. So I'm going to bring in the thrust. I don't want to be going too fast down here. I'm going to come on to that other shorter runway. At RAF Odiham. It's just lovely in the morning. So I'm reducing the thrust, keeping the nose up. I'm going right into the sun. That's not very convenient. Cannot see what I am doing over there, except that that's the end of the airfield. Oh, there we go. Looks like maybe I haven't done too bad a job. I can just see the smaller runway now with the helicopter markings on it. I just think that Blackbird have done a beautiful job capturing the incredible bassy waka sound of the Chinook. It sounds wonderful. Good job, people. Oh, can't stand that view for very long, otherwise I won't be able to control the aircraft. So, reducing the thrust lever now. Bringing the nose up. I want to see our speed coming in, and obviously our altitude going down. I'm losing it 2,000 feet a minute now. I'm going a bit fast here. As usual, guilty of enjoying the view instead of flying the helicopter. Really be losing speed. So I've got the thrust lever all the way down because of my poor planning. So we're overflying that runway a little bit here. Right. Interesting how the transmission whine really came up when I did that. I must have loaded the rotor very heavily in that maneuver. Probably not the way you're supposed to do it, I would imagine. So let's just try a little landing over here now that I've made a bit of a mess of that. Get right back on this runway center line. I'll see if I can get on that H on this little runway that they have. They've closed most of the runway, it seems, but they just operate the small part, presumably for the benefit of the Chinooks that work from here. I'm at 32 feet. Let's get that down. 23, 22. That radar altimeter is very important. Just a little bit too... Oh, we've made contact with the rear wheels there, and I have put a little bit too much strain on them because now we're rolling backwards. My mistake. Just lift them off the ground again and just come forward again here. I just overdid it a bit with overshooting the H. You have to think a little bit ahead of the Blackbird, Chinook. Okay. Oh dear. So I just gave that a bit of a whack as we met the ground there again. Not too bad. Okay, let's just try another little bit of taxi maneuver here. Let's come down to these pads down here. We'll try a turn about the nose and see how easy or difficult that is. Once we get into this kind of manoeuvring, it's we start entering a slightly more challenging part of the simulator. It's never easy on this two-dimensional screen, but we'll see how we go. I'll try a turn about the nose around that 19. There's a 19 just going under the glare shield now in front there. So, don't start yet. Want to get the machine nice and stable first. Just bump up and down there a bit on the thrust lever. Okay, so with this one we are going to edge to the right with the cyclic, but we're going to edge to the left with the pedals. So that's going to give us a turn about the nose. Right on the cyclic, left on the pedal. And I've sort of just gone a little bit too far back there. I need to start counteracting this with a bit of left cyclic now. But that's not too bad. Turn about the nose. Try a turn about the tail, but that is much harder in the simulator. I'll just give it a little go here, and you can just, hopefully, if you can do a better job than me on this, then good for you. This time we want to be going both to the left with the pedals and to the left with the cyclic, or feed a little bit in left with the cyclic. It's already gone a little bit too far there, and I've just swung out the nose too much now. So that's why the turn about the nose is, or the turn about the tail is quite hard. I'm just, well, look, I mean, it's in the right position. Let's settle it down over here. Move it sideways to that pad. I've got a bit of a habit of letting it go backwards there. Should just try and be a little bit more careful about that. Clunk. Alright, that was a bit violent. Sorry about that, people. Still, we're in the box. Okay, let's, I don't know, let's go and have a little walk around here. I am going to use the keys here. The interior is pretty basic. This is the so-called default configuration on the Blackbird CH-47. That was wrong. Let's try that one. That's better. Be quite fun to be able to turn these seats down, but no. Pretty nice detailing here, fairly tidy, but with realistic looking wear. Now, if it's possible to find a click spot for this from the inside, I have not yet found it. If there's a click spot here, I've been on the Blackbird Discord, but I have not found out where the click spot is to open that ramp. That would be kind of fun right now. Sounds are pretty good in the interior. As I've already expressed my love many times over for those rotor sounds on the Blackbird rendition of this machine. They sound great. So we can go outside. This would be pretty hard going when it was at flight idle. Be pretty windy, I would imagine, back here. Alright, so I can open that from the outside. I don't know how to jump up there, so... yeah, shrug, not sure. But that looks pretty cool. The Blackbird, sorry, the Miltech is a little bit more fully featured in this area, as we will discover shortly. Okay, back inside. Yeah, that's left that open, so I guess... what was that? Did this helicopter just fall backwards? No? Okay. Again. Don't know, that's a bit mysterious. It'd be nice to have a little bit more functionality with this, maybe a click spot in here to control the ramp might make it a bit more fun. But that's the Blackbird. A solid rendition, a good looking rendition of the Chinook. Like the sounds. The feel is, I would say, maybe a little bit harder to fly than the Miltech. I like the look of this cockpit. Wouldn't mind a few more bells and whistles just in terms of the sort of features, the fun features of being able to open that side door, open the ramp when we're flying. And I'd definitely like to see a bit more improvement in the systems here so that we can run a realistic startup procedure. But that's the Blackbird. Let's have a look at the Miltech. Same parking spot, same airfield, different machine. This is the Miltech CH47 Delta. And let us start getting right into it then. Yeah, number one, that skin texture is less than what we saw on the Blackbird liveries. I have chosen the Royal Air Force Dusty livery. Why wouldn't you choose Royal Air Force when coming to RAF Odiham, I ask you? Of course I chose RAF. It's just that, yeah, I don't know, those rivets look very large and those textures look considerably lower resolution. I'm sure the developer would say that it's a trade-off between performance and detail. Yeah, it's just a bit noticeable, isn't it? So, yes, I see they have added some features here. The 2024 features of the wheel conditions. Don't know that there's a lot else we can check here. We can't operate that door from the back, but we can operate it from the tablet inside. We will have a look at that later on. Nice droop going on there on those forward rotors. I'm not sure if that's too far forward, but it kind of looks cool. Shiny wheel hub there. Just I can see the polygon there slightly, so not the highest resolution again. What else can we see here? Once more, I can sort of see the polygon on the lights there, and they don't appear to stow. These searchlights don't seem to stow like they did in the Blackbird. Maybe some models have them fixed in place like that, not quite sure. Alright, let's get on board with that handy door there. Great. Right, and we are all set up, ready to go now inside the Miltech edition of the Chinook. Overall design choice, I think, is good. It's more worn than the last aircraft we looked at. When we think about it, the newest Deltas, even the newest ones, are probably well over 20 years old now, so wear and tear here is good. No problems up here, I don't think. That's all looking fine. Just the only thing is, when we get in close to these panels, we start to run into some resolution issues. These gauges are, I think, passable, but this resolution on these back sort of panels here, and then when you look at these screws, oh dear, that's just painted on, and, well, it might be painted onto this object, but that just, I'm sorry, that does not look good, and it spoils it a bit for me. If they were behind me, out of my view, if they were up there or something, I wouldn't care. But they're in my view the whole time. Yes, I know I'm further back, but I don't know. The resolution of this cockpit is, it's look, again, it'll be a performance question. I just would like to think that in this era of incredible simulator technology with all these advances that we're getting, 2024, I would just like to see maybe a bit more of an investment into a resolution here. That's what I reckon. Right, another thing, just these switches, this very large looking switches compared to what we saw in the Blackbird machine there. Massive switch there for operating the steering controls. Okay, but don't know. Also, I'm getting a weird phantom input here. I think that will disappear once we get started up. Speaking of, let's do it. So let's get these anti-cols on. Let's get the position light into the bright position. Why not? And battery on. So, we do again have a checklist in here. It's a little bit more detailed than what we saw in the Blackbird machine. I'm going to skip most of the pre-starts and just start with the start engine. Battery is on. We've got our lights on that we want. Let's just get right into it. We need to run the APU for a couple of seconds, 3 to 5, and then we'll get that down to start. Good sounds. Great. I would have thought we would see an annunciator here for the APU. We don't until I turn on the APU generator, and there it is. I wonder if that's the right way around. Right, APU, and hydraulic transfer. So notice that I can, like the Blackbird, I can actually move the stick and the everything in this state. I would think that's incorrect until these were on. But there you go. That gives power to the hydraulics even with the engines off. But they were working anyway, so shrug. Anyway, the parking brake is on. The FADEC backup power is up here. This is not modelled at all in the Blackbird, so we expect to see these going out when we do that, and they have. Am I supposed to turn that off now? It doesn't say. Engine condition levers, both stop. They are. EEPS fan switch, both on. I'll turn that on, and that gets rid of the annunciations here. But this machine actually, we'd be looking to see the cylindrical particle separators on the front of the engine pods there. We just see these conical devices. The cylindrical EEPS, or particle separators, help keep the dust and debris from entering the engines. The switches are here, the annunciators are down here, it's in the checklist, but those devices just aren't fitted to this aircraft. Okay, so we'll just follow the checklist and take care of those and get rid of those warnings we don't need. So, EEP store, I don't think there is one. Troops warn switch, I could have done this on the Blackbird as well. That does work on the Blackbird. There's the alarm. We've got a green light and a red light. I'm not sure if that matches what's going on in the back. Right. Quick look back here. Do we see any red light on in here? Would that be up here? Anyway, it's not. That's not a thing. So, give no further thought to that. Right. So we will probably have to get that off now. Yep. Good. All fuel pump switches on. All fuel pump switch are on position. Right. On, and on. No warnings here, and we'll just get that crossfeed on as well, because that's what the checklist wants. Engine condition lever 1 ground. So let's move that forward. We're on ground. And we now start the engine, and we keep an eye on some meters down here. So let's just get this onto... Okay, so it's counting up. Good. Engine start. So we hold that for 10 seconds. Although I think it's sort of on its own system now. It doesn't actually require me to hold it down, but the checklist says it is. I assume it's a sprung-loaded switch in real life. Okay, so there we go. We're over 10% on the N1 now, so that has control of itself. IT is rising. And what's the other one we're looking for? Oil pressure above 5 psi. Well, we're at 92. Or is that 82? So we're fine there on oil pressure. And we've achieved 50% N1 within 45, because that was a couple seconds off. But why is it shooting all the way up to 100 and more? No, it's coming up to 100. Don't know. And engine torque is over 100. Is that realistic? That seems... it wouldn't be doing that much work at this point, but I don't know. Alright, so that seems to be working. The ITIT is still going up. That would be kind of worrying, I guess. Anyway, we'll get the 2 in. Was I supposed to actually manually turn that off? Alright, so once this goes over 1 or 10 on the N1 for engine 2, I will, which is almost there. And I think I failed to put the... Whoa! Bit of a mistake there. But it seems not to have heard it. The N1 is still going up. I should have had that ground idle up ahead earlier than that. So N1 on engine 2 is now rising. The torque on engine 2 is way down. Okay. Engine 1 just fell off there. It's like it's going to flight idle immediately. It's kind of like what the Blackbird did. Well, the Blackbird didn't even model the extra position on the levers. It just kind of ground idle was flight idle. This one seems to... yeah, I don't know. I don't know why we're at 100% rotor RPM with nothing on the engine torque now. Falling ITIT, that's... okay, we're out of the green even. That's weird. At least oil pressure's looking alright. Temperature's okay. And now the N1's going up again. I don't know why, I haven't changed anything. And the torque's coming back up, even though we were already at 100% rotor RPM. I don't know. This seems, if I'm going to be polite about it, a bit loose. Let's see if we'll expect more work to come here in the future. Okay. That should be off. Okay. Where were we? We need the engine generators on. We need the APU off. The APU generator, that is, and the APU itself off. And that leaves only the AFCS annunciations, which is the automatic flight control system. I'll just get that onto both down here, and we're fine. Those, extinguish those. We are good. Great. So we're started up. So I should have mentioned earlier on, this Miltech is now available on the Contrail app for 2024, and it's a free update if you've already bought the Miltech Chinook in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. It's a free update for you in Contrail right now if you already own it, and it's available for you to purchase if you don't, and it will just run in FS 2024 with those extra features that they added. Right, what am I doing? I need to get up to the overhead. I'll get those searchlights on. Are they on now? Yes, they are. Great. Okay, so that's all looking pretty good upstairs here. Then we get those transfer by... yeah, off. Okay, I just missed those. Okay. Alright, I think we're all good on the checklist. The only other checklist here, pre-taxi, parking, brake, okay. Taxi, there's wheels. Okay, we'll deal with that in a sec. Okay, so I want to get some load in here, and because we're dealing with a situation here where Miltech's got its own tablet, and we've got the Microsoft one, some of the features don't work in the Microsoft because they're sort of overridden down here. So in the load, let's get something loaded in here, a Humvee out in the back. Let's go and have a look. Oh, yes! Yes! Oh, I like that. Wow, that just fits, doesn't it? That's impressive, even if it's missing its headlights. I love it. That's impressive. Oh, does it need to be tied down, or am I just being just a little bit too demanding now? Okay. I love it. I love it that this machine can carry around a Humvee. Alright, so back to the tablet, and what have we done? We have we've got ourselves up to about 33,000 pounds. I think, what's our takeoff weight, maximum takeoff weight here? Oh, we're in kilos and pounds now. Oh god. I don't know if I can do that here or not. One thing that I am really grateful for from Miltech is the ability to do this. Turn down the interior transmission whine. Goodbye. Oh, what a relief. If you're sensitive to that sound like I am, you will be very grateful for that. I know that is not realistic. However, I would like to be able to use this simulation. And so with the addition of that by Miltech, they actually, this is back in 2020 now that they added that, that has actually allowed me to fly this plane, because that sound would, I'm not overstating this for rhetorical purposes, that sound after a while would actually make me sick in the simulation. So anyway, thank you Miltech for adding that. That's a great improvement. Let's have some cockpit vibration. Okay. Yes, alright, I think we don't need to worry about anything else. For that today, I can hide that tablet now. There's a click spot back there. Good, 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 good. Right, so the oversized switch down here, it's currently locked. Let's get it forward into unlock, and then, whoops, all the way forward into swivel. How's our view here? I'll just reset it. Okay, I need a little bit further down. That's good. Okay, so parking brake in, and let's start taxiing with the addition of a little bit of power here. Moving forward, there we go. Grab the knob, and what happens? Move to the right, move to the left, nothing is happening. That rightward drift is just not because of the knob. The knob doesn't work, knob doesn't do anything. But the pedals do, so again, it looks like it might be something that is difficult with the sim in its current state, or maybe the developers haven't figured out how to do it yet, to introduce a more realistic form of steering here. Just got a bit fast here. Get back onto that taxi line. So we'll lock those wheels again. Can I still... Oh yeah, that's... At least that's something. I mean, now I don't steer like I did before. So the lock and unlock does do something, but that, yeah, steering adjustment doesn't. Alright, so we want the parking brake on. And let's try what we did in the Blackbird. So notice, again, we've got the indicator down here. We need to get that about 2 inches back, about there. And we gently increase the thrust. It starts to lift now. You need a lot more thrust. Just, I'm bringing my controller a lot further up than what I had to do with the Blackbird. Don't know why. The Blackbird really springs off the ground. Not very realistic, maybe too powerful, but this one seems pretty good. It's just that it's okay there, but notice that I'm actually rolling back on the wheels now. They're rolling. Those wheels are moving backwards. And then I let the front touch, and we brake to a halt. So just lower that thrust again. It seems that the back wheels don't have a brake, which surely is not realistic. So that's going to make it difficult to impossible to do your sort of hillside landings, opening up that ramp at the back and letting your troops out. So that just is not working correctly at the moment. So I can't sit back on my back wheels like I'd like to be able to. Anyway, let's lift up the nose, let's increase the thrust, let's get the nose down now, and we are hover taxiing. And we're getting speedily off the mark. The radar altimeter is in the same place. It's a little bit harder to read because it's not the digital version. I can see we're at 8 feet now. It seems to read a little bit lower than the Blackbird one perhaps. But here's something that people will like. This machine is really easy to handle. In the hover taxi, it's more responsive than the Blackbird. I don't have to think so far ahead. And get our pedal in there. Just to counteract that translational movement there. And it's easy. This is easy to maneuver around. So this will be popular with people. That bass throb is great. It feels a bit more mono than the Blackbird audio. Again, I'm so grateful we could turn that down, that transmission whine. It is quite loud enough for me, even at that level there. Even though people will tell me it's not realistic. I know. No. Okay, so we're following the same path we did with the Blackbird. It's very, very easy to do this. Just gliding along. That is just, it's so easy. Getting a bit fast. So the handling is just glorious in this, and I don't know if it's realistic or not. I mean, it's a heavy old machine with a big old Humvee in the back. I don't know. I would have thought maybe it would have needed a bit more momentum than this, but it is in the simulation really nice to handle. Line it up just like what we did with the Blackbird. There we go. Excellent. Okay, let's get moving here. We will. We've got everything in the green. Well, as in the green as it can be in this slightly wonky simulation. Nose down. Thrust lever up. Torque is even lower than what it was in the Blackbird. Torque is only at 40% there. That, with this amount of power, and cannot be right. I'm passing through 100 knots at 40% torque. Surely no. Alright, that was a bit adventurously low. Going to do the same manoeuvre as we did with the Blackbird. Lifting up here. What's our... I can't quite see that balance ball there. It seems... I don't know if that's... sticks us in the way, but it seems to be centralized. So I don't know if there's a bit of automatic trim happening here, but it's not showing on the input viewer if it is, but it seems nice and stable anyway. I'm climbing too high. Let's fix that, get that power down. Maybe not quite that far down. I mean, this is not going to trouble you in cruise. It's very easy to fly in cruise. I mean, I can use the trim, I hardly need to. It's very stable and easy to fly. Nice work, Miltech. It feels great. Is it too easy? I'm not sure about that. That's a tricky question. Right, there's the airfield again. Great. Lowering the thrust lever. Let's see if I can do a better job of this than I did with the other machine. Cancelling out that lateral movement with a bit of a exciting bank manoeuvre there. We're at 100 knots. Quite fast. That speed will start to wash off as I bring the nose up and lower the thrust lever. So, which I seem to pronounce both lever and lever, so figure that one out. Okay, I think I'm managing my energy situation here a bit better than I was with the Blackbird. Maybe maybe the helicopter's a little bit more responsive than the Blackbird and a bit easier to handle, so maybe that's why this is going a bit better than the other one was, this approach. Just having a bit of trouble seeing over that glare shield though. We are still over 50 knots. Torque is under 20. Seems like it wouldn't be enough. Now it's really going to want an addition of power now. Good. That feels right. All right, this is good. I'm not going to touch just yet. I'm going to see if I can demonstrate the autopilot features in the Miltech by getting over here, stabilizing, let's hope, at about 50 feet. It's about 60 now. Just get the radar altitude in, radar altitude hold, and now what I'm supposed to do, what Miltech wants me to do, is lower my real life thrust lever No, it just goes straight through. Alright, I'm going to hit pause because what? No, does that work? Yes, it does. I'm going to do what I was advised by the very good people at Miltech and increase this dead zone. I mean, that's a lot of dead zone. So what they are trying to get us to do is avoid a conflict. So we'll try and get this back up here. Is it now? Has it captured again? I've got that radar alt button in. I think I put it in at about 60. I'll lower my thrust lever all the way down, but no, it just breaks through. I mean, how can I get it to engage? I'll take it out. That was engaged at about 65. No, about 80. No, I'm just yeah. Is it actually in? No, it's not. So maybe that was my fault, that one. So let's try and stabilize it again. Last chance. So that's at about 70 feet now. Radar alt. Bring the thrust lever down. All the way down. I can see it's trying to, yeah. I can see the system's trying to grab it, but it's just kind of not, and look, I don't know what I'm supposed to do to get that working. If you're having better luck with me than that, then let me know, but I mean, I had all the dead zone in the world in there. I didn't even really get all the way to the bottom because it just falls out of the sky if I'm, too adventurous about getting less control input then. You're supposed to be able to put the thrust lever down, and the Miltech is supposed to be able to pick up the radio altitude with the AFCS, but I don't think I've had a lot of success in getting that working. I've had a couple of okay flights with that, but it's very finicky at best. But on the other hand, look, it's so easy to fly. Do you even need it? This is just repeating what I did with Blackbird here. Edging forward. Where's our radio altimeter? 4 feet? Really? 3, 2, 1. Thrust lever all the way down. Oh, come on. Look, the Miltech's easy to fly. It really is. It's a glorious machine to fly. Let's try a couple of our maneuvers again. Don't want to get too high here. We'll just edge down to that number 19 pad down here. We'll try our little turnabout the nose. I think it's going to be a dream in this machine. Do you know, there's something about the lighting on that instrument panel that the material somehow isn't right. It sort of makes it stand out. Looks like it doesn't belong to the rest of the scene. I know I've already talked about the texture and my thoughts about that, but there's just, I don't know. Is that definitely off? Yes, it is. Right, where's this 19? Let's see what we can do with it, with a turnabout the nose. Here, remember, we are going to need right to start the maneuver. We'll need right cyclic and left pedal. Then we'll just have to be very careful as we go around. So let's start it now. Left pedal, right cyclic. Then we start to lose a bit of, just drifting back over there a bit. That's not quite right. So try and get the nose forward. Start to cancel that movement now. And yeah, look, I didn't initiate it very nicely, but I think I caught it quite nicely at the end there. I think with a bit of practice, anyone with a reasonable sort of control setup is going to be able to master that and feel pretty good about their Chinook skills. Alright, let's come down here. We'll try and turn about the tail. This is always challenging, even in a machine this friendly to use. Come back a little further forward than that, please. Okay. Alright, well, okay, we'll give it a go from there. My habit is to maybe just back up, not too far down. This is a dream. This just handles beautifully. Just trying to edge it backwards, and it's just easy. Alright, so this time we want the pedal and the cyclic to start off going the same way, which is left. Let's try and not let it go crazy. Not enough pedal yet. Now not enough pedal. Okay. Oh dear. Turn about the tail is not easy. How did I do? How did I do? I think I've now just crept forward a bit. Look, the end result's not bad, you gotta say. It's not bad. It's just like, it's not the easiest maneuver in a flight sim with a 2D screen. I'm not sort of getting full situational awareness, but not too bad. Okay, let's have a go at some of the fun things that Miltech have put in here. And I really admire a developer that does this. Some extra bells and whistles. Hype Performance Group is very good at this sort of thing as well. Programming goodies into their aircraft for you to get a bit more value out of what the simulator can provide. Let's sit down here. Not doing a very good job positioning this. Hover, and well, I think the rear wheels made contact there. Not quite as much audio input coming from the wheels touching the ground in the Miltech. It does make a sound, it just comes in a bit later. Right, so, tablet. Let's just get ourselves ready for a hook load. So, and we can do that with the load. So we'll get that Humvee out, and we'll get an external load on. What else do we want to do here? So maybe we'll get the hook door opened up, and the side door open up there as well. And, I don't know, let's just have the back ramp open just to enjoy the view. Be very breezy in the back, that's for sure. So, there we go, we've got that door open there so our crew can have a bit more situational awareness about what's going on here, and this is fabulous. So where the Blackbird had a very basic functionality in this area, the Miltech is just doing just beautifully. I don't think it's very realistic doing a hook operation with this open, but it looks fun. Just come into the cabin here. Bit of a weird cut-off there with the background audio. Right, so there's the hole. So someone dangles through that, and just kind of what a job. What a job. Dangles through there and like somehow guides the pilot with what to do. I just that the work that people do in these machines is incredible. Wow. Alright, so that's the center hook, so let's make sure we get a load that requires the center hook. Right, so back into my seat. Where was I? Here we go. Good. So, now that I've opened that up, let's just have a play with it first. Let's get it all the way down, and we will unfold the slide. And I'm in the wrong position to view it. This is all animated nicely. Why is that? What have I done wrong there? So, back in. So, ramp position is full. Do I need to extend the top as well? Oh no, yes, that's what it is. I need to retract that part of the ramp. And now that'll flip down. Beautiful. That's how we would have got our Humvee in and out. Nice. Good work, Miltech. Love that. Love it. Great. Right, well, let's just get all that in now. So we'll extend the slide. We will close the door and we will retract the top. Good. Alright, so I just cut out a bit of me just mucking around with things here and putting the machine in a bad position, my fault. So let's get into the load. Party tricks for the Miltech. External. Now, I want to use something with the middle hook. We're going to put a bucket on there. A UH-60, yes, with the middle hook. I like the sound of that. Yes, let's ask for that. So when I click this here, what happens is you can see that I've got a Black Hawk has just spawned over there for me to pick up with my Chinook. Is there anything better than a helicopter picking up a helicopter? Come on. Alright, so it wants me to change the selector up here to middle. Okay, so that stopped flashing, and I don't think that changes anything on the outside, but the middle hook We saw that was ready to go before. That's all open up and ready for someone to dangle out there and help with this operation. So here's how you pick up the hook load in the Miltech. I'm adding power. I'm not getting too far ahead of things here. I need to approach from behind the load. So just keeping an eye there. It wants me to be at about 40 feet. Whoop, that was a bit close. It wants me to be at 40 feet. So I get right behind the target there. Fantastic. Very clever, Miltech. This is excellent. Try and get up to 40 feet. It's edging forward now. See the Black Hawk just sliding below there. Good. Don't want to increase the speed there. Bring that back. Not that much though. So presumably the person dangling out of the hole right now would be telling me what I needed to do. Luckily I've got that radar indicator there. So it's hooked on, keep steady and pull up. Hooked! Yes! How awesome is that? But maybe not crash into those Chinooks that are on the apron over there. Let's see what I can do here. Can I get it into one of those 19 or 20? You just need to be a little bit careful about the way you handle it here. Now, what was it, 40 that I picked up? So I don't want to get lower than 50. I could actually dial that into the radio, the radio altimeter there. Give me a warning, but I'll just keep an eye on it. It's at 87.65, 80 now, so keep an eye on that. There we go, a helicopter carrying a helicopter and about to crash because I, as usual, am enjoying the view too much. Well, I think that'll be slightly bent now, that machine, but it's giving me another opportunity. It hasn't destroyed it, so I will attempt to go and put it back where it's supposed to be. This gives me a chance to practice my tactical flying skills here. Oh dear. So, this is the best part, right? Oh, I'm going much too fast here. Alright, let's get this sorted out. This is the best part of what Miltech has offered in this package. Like, this kind of innovative development. I love it. Thank you. It's really good. People can have fun with this. There are some sort of pre-scripted missions that you can do where you're doing tasks that suit the Chinook in locations that they've done maybe a little bit of work on the scenery and so forth. So that's another good use of this excellent aircraft. Let me just go and pick this Black Hawk that I dropped. Oh dear. So at 40 feet, that's good. Pick it up again. Hooked. Good. Alright. I'll try not to drop it this time. Okay, so I don't think there's any kind of physics modeling going on here. It's just sort of rigidly suspended down there. It's not using any of the fancy new technology for sling loads that Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 has introduced, but it's kind of fun nonetheless. Coming around here, get onto one of these 19 or 20 boxes. Radar altimeter 90. $80, 82, okay, looks like we're lined up okay with the box. 19. just not very stable there at the moment. Now, where are we for height? 60. Just add it. Oh, no, I don't want to get too low yet. 40 something, 47, 46. Just got a bit lower there than what I intended. 48. Just want to get a bit further forward, and then we'll safely deliver this Black Hawk to where it was supposed to go in the first place. I'd hope that that person in the back would be doing a great job of telling me how I'm doing here. Looks like I might be a bit further back than I thought I was. This is so great. Imagine being able to do this in a simulator. It's awesome. Lowering down now. I think I've come off to the side a bit. That's not good. It says it's released. So, how did we do? Oh, oh, that's where the challenge is. I think that you, with a bit of practice, are going to be able to do a better job than me. Let's get this machine down here and wrap this thing up. This has been fun, learning about the Chinooks and talking about it, and hopefully giving people some ideas of fun activities they can do in these awesome, awesome machines. That was fun. I didn't do a great job, but that was fun. The Miltech. I'd love to see some improvements in this cockpit texturing. I'd love to see a little bit more detail on the outside. I love what's happening here in the tablet. I love being able to do the loads. The sling loads, that's fun. I need to improve my skills there a little bit, but that's just a good time to be had with a really impressive piece of technology. Sounds in the Miltech, a little bit mono for me, rather than using the full stereo width that I enjoyed in the Blackbird. But the systems, you know, the engine startup procedure, not quite right. This engine modelling doesn't seem quite right just yet. It seems to be improving. Miltech haven't forgotten this aircraft. They've already updated it for 2024. Thank you, Miltech. Good work. I hope that the Blackbird will have some more work done on it as well, and that can be the beneficiary of some further development. I hope that this Chinook gets some further love from Miltech as well. Good times to be had either way, no matter what. Is it enough for you to upgrade to the Premium Deluxe in order to get the Blackbird? I don't know. You'll have to make a judgment on that. Or is it enough to invest the Chinook from Miltech as a separate add-on? Well, again, that's entirely your call. I've had a great time with the Miltech. I know I've had a few things to say about how things look inside, but nonetheless, I really applaud what the developer's done with producing a nicely handling aircraft that has some really brilliant, innovative fun, really, built into it in this tablet, allowing us to do these sling loads with that poor old Black Hawk over there. Look, either way, we're in a bit of a golden age for helicopters and flight simulation. I think there's more still to come. Both of these developers and others too have been raising the bar, and it's a great time to be getting into heli simming. Please go ahead and enjoy yourself with some of the full capabilities that these machines can offer you. I hope this video, this quite long video, has been really useful to you and giving you some advice on what you might find useful or important to you, and maybe even some skills in getting yourself around in these wonderful machines. Anyway, I better sign off and get back to improving my sling load skills. I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.